happy mask. Okay. Happy mask on. Happy mask off. Sad mask on. Sad mask off. We have another mask on our table. You have an idea for a mask? Fear. That's a really good one. We'll call it afraid. I feel afraid. Pick up an afraid mask. Neutral. Afraid mask on. Go. And off. Really good. How about in our audience of young people, who has an idea for a mask? Anxious. Oh my goodness. Could you tell us why this mask is feeling anxious?
Because its grandma told it that it's going to get a present and the mask is really anxious to get the present.
So this is kind of happy anxious, not nervous anxious, but happy anxious. Okay, I really like that. An excellent story too. Anxious. Happy anxious mask on, neutral face. Anxious mask on, go. And off. Step down. How about let's ask the big audience for an idea for a mask. So you want to think of the sentence, I feel blank, and fill it in with some sort of emotion. Does anyone in the audience have an idea for a mask?
Sleepy.
What was that?
Sleepy?
Sleepy?
Yeah. Tired.
I feel sleepy. That works. Pick up your sleepy mask. Neutral face. Sleepy mask on. Go. And off. Set it down. One more from our big audience.
Goofy.
Goofy. Goofy mask. Neutral face. Goofy mask on. Goofy mask off. Set it down. Take your hand. Wipe those masks off your table. Push that table away. Those are really good masks. Neutral. This group now is going to, and the mask is actually an exercise that starts to teach young performers about emotion. Now, if you've ever studied acting, if you've been in an acting class, you know that mostly teachers will tell you to find the emotion inside you, and then it will come out. There's another way to do it, which is to create the emotion externally, and then it happens internally. And that's really what works best with kids. So we start with these kind of external masks, and then it develops the emotion internally, and actually you can start to feel, you've ever thought of when you wake up in a bad mood and you just tell yourself to smile? Sometimes it actually makes you feel happier to do that. Mask exercise kind of has that effect for young people learning how to connect their emotions to their acting. So this next story is about a series of big problems. They started to learn that good problems make good stories. So I want you to watch this story. I'm not going to tell you the title because it'll give it away. And see if you can identify all the problems that go on in this story. There's a main big problem. See if you can identify that, but also the little problems. Okay, so we're not going to tell them the title, right?
Yeah.
We'll just make sure they can spot it by observation. All right, neutral position. And once upon a time, a group of children woke up in the morning, they stretched and they yawned. And they went to get dressed for school. So they opened their dresser drawer. As you can see, it was a very sticky drawer. It took them a long time to open it. Finally, they opened it. They reached in and found a pair of pants. They were not happy with that pair of pants. So they put them back and dug a little deeper and found another pair of pants. They were bored with that pair of pants too. So they put it back, dug deeper, and found their favorite pair of pants from last year. They gave it a big hug. They couldn't wait to wear them. So they closed their dresser drawer, which again, took a really long time because it was sticky. Finally, they got it closed. They shook out the pants, the dust went flying into their face. And they lifted a leg and slid it through the pants. But they realized something was terribly wrong. These pants were too tight. So they picked up their other leg and slid that leg through. But So they went down onto their backs, and they until finally they got the pants all the way on. But when they went to stand up, they couldn't bend their knees. So they had to figure out a way to roll over onto their tummy and walk their feet up to their hands. Okay, so feeling okay, but not great. They picked up their very heavy backpack. They slid one arm through one loop, the other arm through the other loop, and boy, was that backpack heavy. And they walked to school in their too tight pants and their really heavy backpacks, waving at their friends with sort of phony smiles on their faces. Well, finally they got to school, and they put down their backpacks, and they looked up at their teacher, and she said, "Good morning, class. Time to sit down on the rug." They looked at the rug. They looked at their pants. And they thought to themselves, "How in the world am I going to sit down in these tight pants? How embarrassing." So they had to do the reverse of what they did with stand. So they turned around. They walked their feet away from their hands. Oh, boy. And sat. Come down over here. Because it's getting a little squeaky over there. Yeah, move down closer to me. Yeah, that's right. And then you can move down also squeak. All right. Good. So they were sitting on the rug, thinking this day is not going very well at all. Luckily, I have a piece of gum in my pocket. So they opened up their pocket, took out the gum, unwrapped it, and popped it in their mouth. And their teacher walked over, and she said, "Are you chewing gum?" No, but being very smart, she said, "Are you chewing gum?" They shook their head yes. She said, "You know you're not allowed to chew gum in school. Please go throw it out." And they thought, "How embarrassing. Now I have to stand in these tight pants with everyone staring at me." So they went over onto their tummy, walked their feet up to their hands, waddled over to the trash can, took the gum out of their mouth, but when they went to throw it out, boink, it stuck to their fingers. Boink. Boink. They couldn't get rid of this gum. Well, they had to think hard about this problem. So they scratched their head and think, they pulled their hand away and boink, it snapped back. They pulled it away, boink, it snapped back. They pulled it away. They reached for scissors. They snipped it out of their hair. And now they had a hairy gumball mess in their hands. They wrapped it with the wrapper and threw it in the trash. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the tight pants gum story.
Yay!
And then they lifted up their watering can and sprinkled water down onto the land. Trees, 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 trees. The sun was shining brightly all around. The children waited, staring at the ground. Then suddenly the seed began to grow. It grew so tall and wide, now don't you know? Trees, 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 trees. Sammie looked up to the sky, and then upon their knees began to cry. Trees, 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 trees. Well, if you think our story is all through, have a nice surprise in store for you. You see, the children cried so many tears, but trees came back to life for years and years. Trees, 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 trees,
Good job, Sammie.
Excellent, Sammie.